Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If I sound a little bit right now, it's because I'm a little sick, I'm a little under the weather, and I know I've been a little MIA. I'm so sorry for that. It's been a very busy last couple weeks with speaking engagements and conferences, but I'm back, I'm ready and raring to go, and we got another Notion video for you today, taking a deep dive into all of the different ways that I use Notion for content creation. So let's dive in. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. So first and foremost, this is my content creation hub. This is a place where I really don't use this main dashboard very much, but it kind of houses all of the components that really keep me on top of my content marketing and all of my content game plans for my business. So first and foremost, you can kind of see down here that content is organized by channel. Again, I don't use these views a whole heck of a lot, but I can see inside, if you're through my YouTube channel, all the ideas that I have. I can also see, kind of whether they're long form content or shorts. I can see whether they're ideas or there's something that I have planned. So I can kind of see all of the different stages that things are at, as well as all of the completed projects down here. And I have that for my YouTube channel, my blog, my podcast, my newsletter. So like literally anything I do content creation for, it's in here. So Instagram Reels, my community. I'm a senior level contributor for Brains Magazine, so I have it for that as well. Anything that is content creation gets funneled into here and has kind of a different channel in here. And really, more so than anything, that is for helping me to kind of organize the content that I'm creating, but not necessarily something that I necessarily access consistently inside of here. But mostly the big thing I want to show you in this is my workflow. And my workflow really starts by capturing content ideas on the fly in my quick capture system. You guys have probably heard me talk about this before, but I use this quick capture system to not only capture tasks and notes, but also to capture pieces of content that I want to create. And so like, for example, I want to do a Notion video about my quick capture system and how I have my inboxes set up. That is going to be a video that is going to be for Notion, and it's likely going to be a video that I do on YouTube. So I have that down here, and this kind of similar to my task inboxes and my notes inbox clears out after a period of time. This looks like it clears every week. This will clear. So this updates and only shows the content that I've created in the past week. It only shows the ideas. So anything that I've scheduled does not get included in here. So that's the first big place, is capturing content ideas. When I think of something on the fly, I want to make sure I have it written down. And then quarterly, what I go ahead and do, and you can kind of see this in my project manager here, since we're getting toward the end of the quarter, is I will go in and I will schedule out my content. This is taking a second to load. I'm not sure why. There we go. I just had to toggle. So you can see that I am, since it's almost to the end of September, this is kind of where my content creation tends to run out. I do have a few things ready because I got very ahead on my podcast. But I kind of have the posting schedule for when I'm going to be posting these different pieces of content. I do it for my newsletter, which is everything on Monday. My podcast is everything on Tuesday. I have sporadic articles for, again, that Brains Magazine contributor, and then YouTube videos. I've been traveling a lot recently, which is part of the reason why I haven't been posting as recently. But this is kind of to lay everything out ahead of time. So quarterly, I go through and I schedule out the content and when I'm going to put it out. Obviously subject to change. There's been a lot about my podcast that has been changing recently. That's okay. This is just to kind of make sure I'm being consistent and that I'm always kind of putting fresh new content out there and that's not falling to the wayside. Then what I go ahead and do is, for each piece of content, I schedule out the tasks that are inside of that content. But actually, even before that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new piece of content so you can kind of see this. We'll just call this example new content. And let's say this was a piece of content that was a YouTube video, or actually I just clicked YouTube short. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's go ahead and clear this. Let's do YouTube video. And you can see I have a little icon that kind of classifies the new type of content. It automatically assigns it to the social media channel. But probably the biggest thing I've gone ahead and done in here is I use buttons a lot. Ever since buttons became a feature inside of Notion, that's something I've really started using quite a bit. I use it for my client onboarding, anytime I get a new student in my day job. But how I use buttons inside of my content creation is I use it for easy to follow workflows for myself for all of the repeating tasks and systems that I use for pieces of content in my business. So if like we were to click inside of this, you can see it's a very long button because I basically created every single default task that I have for a YouTube video. So if I go ahead and clicked that, it would populate all of these tasks that I need to stay on top of for this YouTube video. And these tasks all get assigned specifically to this piece of content. So like if I were to click inside of it, you can see that it's associated with example new content. And that has been something that has been really, really important is I need to have my content creation and the tasks that are important for it integrated into my task management system. That has been really, really, really crucial for me. And then what I go ahead and do is I schedule out those pieces of content. Now for this one, I'm going to go ahead and, because this is not a real piece of content, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this. But if I were to go in and show you like an upcoming piece of content, you'll see that I have the tasks scheduled out. That's the next big thing that I'm doing. But this is also something that I'm changing quite a bit. I used to kind of schedule it out and space it out like over the course of like 10 days. But actually what I've been realizing, and I think my podcast was a big contributor to this, is I've been loving just kind of batching things and creating a whole bunch of podcasts on one day and creating a whole bunch of YouTube videos on one day. So I think I'm going to really start doing that. It's just something I haven't quite started doing yet. So that is kind of a big part of the workflow is using these buttons. And like literally we could go in and you could see I have different buttons for each of the different types of content I might put out, and then different steps for each of the pieces of content I put out. So I also have one that is a multi-purpose piece of content. So this is for stuff that gets posted on like the blog and the podcast and the YouTube channel, which sometimes happens. So I've got a different array of tasks for that, but I have that for all of the different types of content so that I have those pieces like laid out. So this is really a big piece of how I stay on top of my content creation for my business. But another thing that I've been doing that I've never seen anybody do before, but honestly, I have been finding it so helpful, is I made a database inside of Notion for B-roll. This is definitely something, really the impetus behind creating this was that I knew I was making B-roll. I was making B-roll that I could have potentially used on multiple different pieces of content. But when I don't have a database to keep track of the B-roll I have, how am I going to be able to reuse it and repurpose it? So that's what I started doing is I started putting the different types of B-roll that I have and kind of categories and tags for the types of B-roll that I have, and whether it's ready to use, it needs update, or it needs to be recorded. So I have that kind of under the status. And this has been really, really helpful for me to keep track of the B-roll that I have, the B-roll that I need, so on and so forth. So as I kind of mentioned a second ago, I used to, and this is one of the big things I've been kind of changing when it comes to my content creation process, is I used to very much schedule out all of my tasks over the course of several days. You can see actually a lot of the stuff that's in here is scheduled out over an extended period of time. But one of the things that I've been playing around with is potentially batching content into different days of the week. And to kind of show you this, I'll show you, I played around with creating kind of an ideal week and what I kind of wanted to focus on in these different ideal weeks. So I kind of tentatively had Thursday be like my big content creation day and using this time for social and content marketing for the day. But actually, I think what I'm realizing is I may even break it out further than that. Maybe I will have a content day where I'm focused on podcasts, or a content day like here, I'm kind of focusing on deep work for writing. So tentatively, I mean, I could add as a theme to this that this is a content day for blogging or something like that. I actually think that might end up being the route that I go down, because I think it's really about, for me, getting in the zone with the type of content I'm creating. So whether that's blogging or YouTube or podcasting. So that is something that I'm kind of playing around with, and something that I eventually might move towards, because I've been really enjoying batching content and working on content kind of all in one fell swoop recently. So that's definitely something that is potentially going to be changing. That's a little bit different than how I've been doing content creation in the past. So with that, that's kind of it. That is really the sneak peek into my Notion content creation hub. I hope it gave you some ideas if you are a content creator or you do any sort of content marketing in your business, as some ways to keep you on track, keep you organized. This has been a really invaluable system for me. I've been using it for forever, and I've been loving some of the additions I've made over time, particularly the B-roll database has been very, very helpful for YouTube. But yeah, I'm really, really pumped about it. If you have any interest in this template, it is something that is built into my Burned Out Biz Owner bundle, Notion template bundle, and it's also in my Ultimate Notion Digital Planner. If that is something you're interested in, I would wait until closer to the end of the year to get that Ultimate Notion Digital Planner, because I'm going to be making some updates on it in the next couple months that are going to be really, really awesome for organizing goals and all of that jazz. So stay tuned for that. But if you just want the Content Creation Hub in and of itself, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you if that's something that you feel like is applicable, or you just want a little bit of how I built some of the systems in there, let me know, drop a comment below, and that may be one of my future videos as well. So thank you for being patient with me while I've been busy and sick, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.